Strange perfume, long lost room.
Chalmers climbed up the stairs onto the portico. The wood ceiling was well lit, revealing intricate polychrome traceries of light mint green and cream. He paused and with his eyes traced the ceiling woodwork. And then, without warning, that mystique, that fragrance arrived again, ever so gently weaving its way into his nose. Jessamine hints, he was sure, capturing his emotions at the same time. The geometric pattern on the ceiling unleashed his memories, and for the briefest moment he and Madge were together again in a villa in La Ville Nouvelle, Meknes, Morocco, as they had been decades ago when together they first discovered that magic of night-blooming jessamine. Yes, indeed, he was sure, Cestrum nocturnum. The jessamine had snuck its way back into his nostrils and firmly lodged there, quickly though briefly, carrying him away through time and space. He looked at the balustrade to his right and noted that the continuous rows of double pink oleanders along the side wall had been replaced just beyond the balustrade by two different plants of similar size at the portico corner. He walked over and inspected. Cestrum nocturnum, jessamine, night-blooming jessamine. Mystery solved. He paused and inhaled deeply. In short time he remembered why so many people found this fragrance just too powerful. History. History always is, at best, like this story, a chiaroscuro. The 23 Club by Edward Flaherty. Episode 1. Desertification. T.E. Lawrence was once asked, "What is it, Major Lawrence, that attracts you to the desert?" "It is clean," he answered. "I like it because it is clean." In late fall 2009 via Skype, Toons van der Walt, speaking from the United Arab Emirates, pushed, "Look, Chalmers, I've got a world-class destination resort in the empty quarter, and I'm in trouble. It's going bad. I need you down here. You're one of the best. You've got to fix this for me. You've got to come down here." There is no Arabia Felix without the Rub al Khali, straddling the Tropic of Cancer and known in English as the Empty Quarter. The world's largest sand desert has always been, and still is for humans, an enigma. Throughout millennia, a massive natural and cultural enigma. It is as large as the state of Texas in the United States. To the north, the Nafud and the Tana are sand-dominated deserts. In the very center of the Arabian Peninsula, there is the stone and gravel upland plains desert of the Nejd. But the sand, the dunes, everywhere, are the whispering connections to the empty quarter, the Rub al-Khali. Spice routes. The dhows still ply the waters today, albeit with diesel engines in the hold, but for millennia the edges of the Arabian Peninsula and the empty quarter have had point concentrations for massive flows of exotic goods on dhows that bounced along port by port, coming and going from India and further east, coming and going from Africa, but always trading along the edges of the Arabian Peninsula, the edges of the empty quarter. Spices, incense, and exotica. The flows, the massive flows of what? What would you find on those dhows? Frankincense, sandalwood, agarwood, amber, ivory, herbs, and opium, silks, silver, and gold, ebony and pearls, nutmeg, cinnamon, and mace, cumin, cardamom, and cloves, pepper, and vanilla. What more could you ask for? What more could be printed? Explorers. Bertram Thomas in 1931 wrote, "He is crazed with the spell of Arabia, notorious lovers of titillating rhyme, anarchy, treachery, hospitality, devil dancing, jinns, and the cave of Suhor." The previous explorers set a literary tone for the Arabian Peninsula and for the empty quarter, but Sir Wilfrid Thesiger passed 5 years in the sands, giving his nearly contemporary insights an undeniable gravitas. He wrote, "Bin Gabaisha was certainly the best rider and the best shot, always graceful in everything he did. He had a quick smile and a gentle manner, but I already suspected he could be both reckless and ruthless, and I was not surprised when, within 2 years, he had become one of the most daring outlaws on the Trucial coast, with a half-dozen blood feuds on his hands." Listen, Yemen has long been well known for its honey, especially along the Wadi Duan in the Hadramaut region, near the Omani border. A couple years ago, my last time in Yemen, speaking with farmers who collected honey in the Wadi Duan, I heard this story. They told me about their relatives and their special al-Qurm honey. The story went something like this, he started. The particular Wadi Duan families originally came from and still had relatives on Al-Urj Island, just north of the Bab el-Mandeb, where the Red Sea meets the Gulf of Aden, the region near Eritrea and Djibouti. The island has the oldest known mangrove colony in the entire Arabian Peninsula region. Their relatives gathered honey from those mangroves, and almost too pungent honey. Their Al-Urj relatives sent the al-Qurm honey to them, which they mixed 1 to 10 with their own Wadi Duan honey, a sweet and very popular local honey coming from the cedar, the Ziziphus spinus Christi. Pirates. 25 years ago, in Southern California, nurseries like Monrovia, Keyline Wilcox, and Valley Crest had rows upon rows of trees, shrubs, ground covers, each properly pruned and grown to near perfection, seemingly unlimited quantities in any size you wanted. Selecting plants there was the same as going down the breakfast cereal aisle in a large American grocery store. Huge selections, multiple sizes of each in massive quantities. The plants in these nurseries were all uniformly healthy, labeled, well displayed, and properly set out. That sophistication and mastery of horticultural and logistics processes integral to plant growth was a spectacular achievement that Chalmers had never fully appreciated, until he worked with the pirate landscape contractors of the Middle East. In the western region of Saudi Arabia in the early 1980s, a large new town was under construction, and street trees were part of the infrastructure work. That was the first time he had seen, on a competitively bid, huge project scale, plants being grown in the used empty tin cans normally thrown out from labor camp kitchens. Always rusting, the cans were lucky to have drainage holes punched into them, hand-watered seemingly by chance, and they were always stacked cheek by jowl to save on land rental costs. Pruning equipment was just never around. The captain of these landscape operations was invariably a French or Belgian or Afrikaner character, meanness carved all over his face, a kepi blanc escapee at best, or at least suitable for a starring role in a Werner Herzog movie. Everyone who worked for the captain was a day laborer at the cheapest rate. If the day laborers would have come from farm backgrounds, in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, never such luck. Meanwhile, Chalmers loaded his bag in the back of Fairuz Cayenne, Turbo S, Luma XXX tuned, all a soft pearlescent taupe outside with carbon fiber accents, matching taupe 22-inch wheels, the de Rigueur low number plate 050, and under the ventilated hood, a bored and stroked supercharged 710 horsepower engine. Chalmers, absorbing the tricked-out combination of beauty and sheer power in this vehicle, again thought, back in the Middle East, oil style. He realized time was short for boarding, and asked Fairuz how were they going to travel the 140 kilometers and arrive at the airport on time. Fairuz said, "It is simple. Haven't you heard of the 23 Club?